Listen, Jamaican people, and listen me well. What's happening in Gaza is not our business. Jamaica does not support terrorism. What's happening in Gaza is as a result of the choices that the citizens of Gaza made. They allow a terrorist organization to run their country. Their leaders went and attacked a sovereign country, unalive, and captured some of their citizens that they are still holding as hostage to this very day. Do not get involved with their squabbles. What's happening between them? Jamaica has nothing at all to do with it. We have our own problem here to deal with. Do not meddle in things that doesn't concern us, because Jamaica is not a very big country. And if one of those missiles ever land on Jamaica, do you think any of us would ever able to survive it? And when those terrorists went and did what they did to the Israelites, why didn't you come out and protest against them? Why didn't you protest against them? The war between Israel and Hamas, ladies and gentlemen, is not a Jamaica problem. Stay out of it. What is our problem right now is Master Mark and his garbage that is going around brainwashing people with. Because he have the audacity to be saying that the PNP-led administration is going to pay the coaster buses and taxis to transport children. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is a policy, ladies and gentlemen, that would have been rigged with corruption. Because what you're going to find out is that a lot of their friends and their activists are going to benefit from it at the expense of the Jamaican taxpayers. It's best, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a structured school bus system that is workable. What the opposition is saying about the school bus system, ladies and gentlemen, is something that would not be sustained. That is something, ladies and gentlemen, that would have only benefited some people. Because I know what they are saying. They are saying that the school bus system that the government is bringing in is going to deprive the coasters and the taxis from getting their revenue. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not depriving the taxis, it is not depriving the coaster buses from getting their revenues. But it is a system that is put in place to ensure that our children are safe. Because in the coaster buses, I know this of a fact, because up until even Friday, ladies and gentlemen, I heard what was being played, the loud music that was being played, and it wasn't any nice music. Those were adult music made for the dance hall that have been played on the coaster buses, ladies and gentlemen, with young children on it. Can you imagine your young kids hearing all those type of dirty music, ladies and gentlemen? And all of these things, some of these coaster buses, ladies and gentlemen, are overcharging the children. When they are to take $50, they are taking $150, $200, all of those stuff. Now with the school bus system that the government is bringing in, they only pay one fare. They only pay $50. And for the day, they would only pay 100 Jamaican dollars. No matter how far they live, and no matter which parish parishes they are from, because the school bus system will benefit all 14 parishes in Jamaica. These are the things that concern us. These are the things that we should be talking about. Leave Gaza's business alone. That doesn't concern us. If they didn't go and mess with Israel, Israel and them wouldn't be at war now. Why are you supporting people who are violence producers? Jamaica does not support violence producers, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get involved in business that doesn't concern you. Leave people business alone. You ever hear the song that says, say people business and leave it alone? Leave people's business alone. Because if any of those terrorists decide to target Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen, not one of us would have left here on this island, because Jamaica is not a very big country that can take bombardment from these terrorist organizations. So ladies and gentlemen, leave people business alone and focus on what really concerns us. The policies of the People's National Party is what you should be talking about, because these policies that they are bringing in, ladies and gentlemen, will push Jamaica into bankruptcy, where we would have to borrow from the IMF again. And ladies and gentlemen, it would undo every single effort, every single thing that the Angel-led administration have been doing. I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, that Lisa Hanna would have been a better opposition leader than Mark Golding. Because Mark Golding, ladies and gentlemen, is not... His talk, ladies and gentlemen, is like bar talk. You know, like when a person is under his liquor and he start talking things, and then when he sober up now and you ask him what he said, it's like he don't remember what he said. Mark Golding's statement are like those persons that have been to the bar and under their liquor. Because what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is total rubbish. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of persons agreeing with him. Before you agree with Mr. Mark, sit down and think about what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be just a person who, yeah, everything he says, you're saying, yeah. Think about the consequences, ladies and gentlemen, of if you should elect him as government. Think about what the consequences that would happen if they don't put a proper bus system in place to transport the children. Think of what will happen, ladies and gentlemen, if Mark Golding go ahead and implement the system where he is going to pay buses and taxis with taxpayers' money to transport children. What's going to happen is that a lot of those PNP activists are going to put their buses out there, and they are the one that it's going to benefit, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to benefit everyone. It's not going to be fair. And ladies and gentlemen, those taxes, some of those politicians, they are the one that it would benefit, because it is their taxes that would go out there to pick up the children. So they are the one that it would benefit. It wouldn't benefit much of the little poor man that is on the ground. That's just cheap psychology they are using to deceive the masses, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. Use your head, ladies and gentlemen. Don't allow these people to use these type of gimmicks on you in order to score political points. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to think about the safety of our children, and we need to understand that our children are little people. They are the men and women of tomorrow. And some of how the children are being handled on the buses, ladies and gentlemen, they are behaving as if the children are not human beings. I mean, sometimes they have to say that the children have to stand up outside and allow the adults to come in first before they can come in. That's how they used to do. That's what they used to do when I was young, taking the public transportation. Ladies and gentlemen,